It has been 19 years since the 9/11 terrorist attacks in the United States. But the pain it caused to people has never dissipated. For more than a decade, there are many insider opinions about the events of 9/11. But what few people know is that a plane hijacked by terrorists. In fact, there are 4 episode shelves. One of them was under the joint efforts of passengers. The terrorist target was not achieved. What really happened on this plane? The hijacked aircraft was numbered American Airlines 93. The plane is scheduled to fly from Newark Airport to San Francisco on September 11th. That day, because the U.S. military conducts armed exercises, some airspace is regulated. The American Airlines 93 accepted the passenger as planned. However, it failed to take off on time. Flight attendants and passengers in the cabin waited boredly. No one noticed that the 4 passengers in the cabin looked slightly flustered. One of the 4 passengers wore a beige coat. One person wears black-rimmed glasses, one person wearing a white lining. One person wears a blue striped polo shirt. This is the moment to resolve flight delays as soon as possible. Boston Air Traffic Boston Center is unusually busy. The air traffic control personnel methodically guide and transfer the routes of each flight. That's when it happened. An air traffic controller suddenly heard a voice shouting in the call channel of American Airlines 11. "Take over the cabin." Could it be that someone hijacked the plane? The air traffic controller immediately reported the situation to the supervisor. But in the United States, the hijacking has not happened in more than 20 years. The supervisor believes that the hijacking cannot be determined on the basis of just a few words in the channel of the call. Follow the disposal process. The supervisor reported this suspicious situation and instructed air traffic controllers to keep an eye on American Airlines 11. The air traffic controller kept calling American Airlines 11. But the American Airlines 11 never answered. Is there really an accident? That's when it happened. News from the airline. They received a call from an aircrew member for help. American Airlines 11 was hijacked. Several passengers on board were stabbed and injured. The Boston Center finally realized that things were not good. They decoded the recording of the American Airlines 11 flight. On the one hand, the situation was reported to the Northeast Air Defense Department of the U.S. military. The Northeast Air Defense Department reacted quickly. Turn on real-time tracking for American Airlines 11. Really? The flight path of 11 Perot has changed. The plane, which had been scheduled to fly to Los Angeles, suddenly turned to New York. The Boston Center speculates that each row of 11 is likely to choose to land at a New York airport. They immediately contacted the center of New York. Request to clear aircraft near the American Airlines 11 route. At this time, the American Airlines 93, which had been delayed for more than half an hour, finally lined up the channel. Get ready to take off. The plane taxied fast. Elevating. Departure from Newark Airport. As the plane continues to climb, the 4 special passengers in the cabin gradually tensed up. And on the ground, the center of Boston suddenly lost the signal of American Airlines 11. Where did American Airlines 11 go? The Northeast Air Defense Department immediately issued an order. Fighters inside the base are required to take off urgently. Launch of emergency air defense operations. However, it was already too late. Right now, smoke suddenly billowed from the World Trade Center in Manhattan. According to CNN, a plane crashed into the North Tower of the World Trade Center. Could it be the missing American Airlines 11? The Boston Center is constantly searching for signals from American Airlines 11. But nothing was found. That's when it happened. Worse happened. The American Airlines 175 also lost its response. The plane descended at a rapid pace and turned straight to New York. The American Airlines 175 was also hijacked. The American Airlines 175 is descending at a rate of 2 kilometers per minute. The Boston Center monitor quickly lost the signal of the American Airlines 175. Meanwhile, inspectors at the New York Center saw it with their own eyes. The American Airlines 175 crashed into the North Tower of the World Trade Center at great speed. It was hit twice in a row. The North Tower of the North Tower shook slightly. There is a danger of overturning at any time. Look at the screen of the CNN live broadcast. The air traffic controllers were shocked and speechless. Why is that? For the thrill on the ground. The American Airlines 93 sailing in mid-air knows nothing. Flight attendants provide meals and services. Everything seems to be the same as usual. The only discord was that the four strange men were constantly breathing deeply in their seats. Something seems to be being prepared. The major flight control centers on the ground have finally come back to their senses. This is a series of planned, premeditated hijacking attacks. They give orders. In New York, Washington, Boston is no fly. And a comprehensive review of the information of the aircraft that has taken off. During the grooming process, they found, just 25 minutes ago, the American Airlines 77 also lost contact after takeoff and left the designated waterway. The previously lost American Airlines 11 reappeared in the signal monitor. It is flying in the direction of Washington. Mofei crashed into the first plane of the World Trade Center. It's an American Airlines 77, not an American Airlines 11. The U.S. Northeast Air Defense Department immediately commanded the fighter jets to fly to Washington. Interception of American Airlines 11. The American Airlines Line 93 in flight quickly received a message from the ground. Boston Center alert. 2 planes have been hijacked and crashed into the World Trade Center. No one else must be allowed to enter the cockpit. American Airlines 93 signed for the information. But the captain did not pay much attention to it. No one noticed that the beige coat man in the cabin suddenly got up and picked up a bag. Went to the bathroom. After closing the bathroom door, he opened the bag. Take out the contents of your bag and start assembling them. In the process of his assembly, the remaining 3 men sat in their seats. There are words in the mouth. Seems to be praying. The beige coat list was quickly assembled. It's an explosive. He tied the bomb tightly to his body with duct tape. Leave the bathroom. Then he glanced at the 3 companions. He returned to his seat without incident. Then, the white-lined man suddenly stood up. Rushed to a flight attendant with a knife. The beige coat man then attacked. Get up and stab a passenger in front of you with a dagger. Pull open your coat at the same time, revealing the explosives strapped to his body. The passengers in the cabin were all stunned. Panickingly ran toward the back of the carriage. The white-shirted man hijacked the flight attendant to the front of the cockpit. Ask her to open the cockpit door. The man with black-rimmed glasses immediately stood up and threatened. In the chaos, the cockpit door was opened. The man with black-rimmed glasses quickly entered the cockpit. Took control of the plane. The plane was hijacked. The Boston Center on the ground heard voices from the American Airlines 93 call channel. Realized that something is wrong. I contacted American Airlines 93 through intercom. Sure enough, the American Airlines 93 did not respond and changed the direction of flight without authorization. The cabin of the American Airlines 93 was already in chaos. The injured passenger lay on the ground groaning. The flight attendant hides to the side and constantly calls the console. 3 men armed with knives threaten to take complete control of the plane. Face the hopeless. Passengers comforted each other. The hijackers just want a ransom. They should be released soon. But soon. A message brought by the flight attendants shattered their illusions. Both the captain and the co-pilot have been killed. Just as the passengers of American Airlines 93 were in shock. There is a new situation on the ground. The US military failed to intercept the hijacked American Airlines 11. American Airlines 11 crashed into the Pentagon. The situation is out of control. Urgent orders under air traffic control. All US airspace is prohibited. Flights that have already flown must also be landed at the nearest airport. At the moment by secretly talking to relatives and friends. Passengers on the American Airlines 93 got the latest news. 2 planes crashed into the World Trade Center. A plane crashed into the Pentagon. Think of the hijackers' killing of the captain. The passengers were completely panicked. Aren't the hijackers on this plane looking for money? They also want to fly planes to carry out similar terrorist attacks. Just then, the American Airlines 93 dropped sharply. The motives of the hijackers are solid. They are likely to carry out suicide attacks. The passengers realized they must not sit still. Some passengers followed the flight attendant to the cabin. Take the fork, knife, hot water, fire extinguishers and everything else that can be used as weapons. Others dial family members' phones. Leave a final message. They understand. I want to survive this hijacking. The probability is really not high. There was crying all over the cabin. People take the phone and tell their relatives and friends over and over again. I love you. No one knows. This sentence I love you will not be a farewell. The plane is getting closer and closer to the ground. Time is running out. With an order. Several male passengers quickly rushed out of their seats. Attacked the beige coat man with the explosives strapped to him. Under siege by the passengers. The explosives were successfully snatched down. They soon discovered that the explosive was a resemblance of goods. After a successful blow, the passengers were in high spirits. Get ready to rush to the cockpit to retake the plane. The man with black-rimmed glasses saw that the situation was not good. Pilot the plane to accelerate towards the ground. The plane jolted violently. The passengers fell to the ground. The remaining 2 bandits took advantage of the chaos. Attempts to attack passengers. But the passengers fought back with fire extinguishers. They were restrained by several passengers joining forces. The knife in his hand was also taken down. After subduing the 3 bandits, passengers pushed the dining car into the cockpit door. They must regain control of the plane as soon as possible. Otherwise, everyone will die. After successfully rushing into the cockpit, several passengers hurried forward to pull the black-rimmed glasses man in the driver's seat. But at the moment, the plane is already close to the ground. On the day of 9/11, among the 4 hijacked aircraft, only the American Airlines 93 did not crash into the ultimate goal. Crashed near Pennsylvania. None of the crew survived. The film has since ended. The passengers on the American Airlines 93 were unable to save themselves. But with their own efforts, they avoided a greater catastrophe. From that point of view, their rebellion was of great significance. The damage caused by the 9/11 incident is irreparable. But the confrontation with terrorism is solidified in history through the film. It is announced all the time. In the light of human nature, terrorism will have no place to stand.